Conscious consumerism. When you buy things from companies, you're supporting their practices, whatever they may be. This is referred to as voting with your dollar. So what are you voting for with your dollar? What is conscious consumerism? Conscious consumerism means making choices that reflect your values, not about guilt and not about being perfect. It's about asking who benefits from my money and who gets harmed. The tricks, the traps, the truth. The 6 sins of greenwashing. Choice, an environmental marketing firm, did a survey of over 1,018 products and found that all but one made claims that were either false or misleading. Based on the survey results, Choice identified 6 greenwashing patterns, which they recognize as the 6 sins of greenwashing. Now, this was in 2007, so we all know it's worse now. Here's a look at that list, beginning with the most commonly committed sins. Number 1, the sin of the hidden trade-off. We see a shiny eco label and immediately assume green, but it's often just one small feature, like recycled plastic. It's used to distract from the bigger environmental downsides, like massive shipping costs, toxic ingredients, or destructive sourcing. It's not a lie, it's a spin. So for example, bottled water in a recyclable plastic bottle. Yeah, it's recyclable, but it still creates massive waste and shipping emissions. These companies brag about one good thing while quietly ignoring all others. For example, a t-shirt made of organic cotton. Often, they use dye that's toxic in factories with abusive labor practices. So for the environment, even if the cotton is organic, there's still water pollution from the dyes. For the labor, the factory may pay poverty wages or have unsafe conditions. Regarding economic justice, the brand profits from eco-hype while paying people pennies. And the voting angle, you are being told you're buying green, but you're unknowingly casting a vote against workers' rights and clean water. If they only show you one green petal, you've got to ask, where's the rest of the flower? You vote with your wallet, meaning where you direct your financial power. So when you buy things, you're funding that company's values, labor practices, supply chain, and so on, which creates an overall cultural message. This is how we got BPA-free water bottles, more cruelty-free makeup, and a zillion kinds of milk alternatives, because it works, so use it. Number 2, the sin of no proof. This is the classic trust me approach. Eco-friendly or cruelty-free, slapped on the label, yet there's no certification, no lab report, no audit. If they can't back it up with a logo from a known certifier or a viable claim, it's just marketing fluff. So for example, saying a product isn't tested on animals, but providing no proof, like skincare brands claiming not tested on animals without the Leaping Bunny or PETA or another recognized logo. They probably tested on animals. These companies give off the trust me bro energy, claims that aren't backed up by third parties. So for example, a shampoo says not tested on animals, but there's no cruelty-free certification. For your personal health, you want safer products, but you're being asked to blindly trust them. Regarding the environment, is the bottle recyclable? Are the ingredients biodegradable? Who knows? Mental load, now you have to research everything. That's exhausting. The voting angle, if they won't prove it, they don't deserve your vote. If the company can't show receipts, maybe you shouldn't show up at the checkout. Animal cruelty is one of the hardest ones for me, so I can't bring it up without immediately showing you some signs to look for so that you know you can trust the product. Here are some animal testing symbols that you can trust from the online magazine Ethical Consumer. I'm not getting paid by them, by the way, just really respect their work. So here we have the vegan symbol, PETA approved, Vegetarian Society, Soil Association, Organic, Cruelty Free International, and the Nature Watch Foundation for Animal Welfare. Number 3, the sin of vagueness. When a claim seems feel good but is meaninglessly vague, like natural, green, or chemical free, beware, because literally everything is made of chemicals. Water is a chemical. This one plays on feeling good hype, not facts. So, chemical-free claim when in fact nothing is free of chemicals is like a makeup product saying that it's chemically free, but they're only saying that to describe the bottle or the outer label, not the actual formula, but they don't clarify that. Companies use claims like clean, natural, and green, words that sound nice but mean zilch. So for example, cleaning spray that says it's eco-friendly, but it doesn't say how. For your personal health, natural does not mean safe. Arsenic is natural. Poison ivy is natural. That stuff's not safe. Environment, you can't tell what kind of impact it actually has. The mental load, you are stuck decoding poetic nonsense instead of facts. And the vote angle, vague language is a smokescreen. If you can't see through it, they win. If it sounds like it was written by a wellness influencer mid-juice cleanse, dig deeper. Number 4, the sin of irrelevance. This is when brands tout something that omits real issues while spotlighting something pointless, like CFC-free, when those compounds were banned decades ago anyways. It feels like progress, but it's just marketing dust. A deodorant that advertises CFC-free, but CFCs have been illegal and haven't been used in decades. These ones can be so tricky because these companies are using green claims that are technically true but totally meaningless. Circling back to CFC free, take hairsprays for example. They'll brag about being CFC free even though they were banned in the 90s. So, regarding your personal health, you're going to feel a bit safer using it, but it's just smoke and mirrors. Regarding the environment, irrelevant claims distract from real harm, like VOC emissions, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then the mental load, you waste energy trying to understand if this information matters. And your vote angle, you're meant to feel good without learning anything real. Don't mistake trivia for transparency. VOCs are volatile organic compounds. Exposure to VOCs can cause various health effects, including respiratory irritation, headaches, and even long-term health problems like cancer. Additionally, VOCs contribute to air pollution by forming ground-level ozone and smog. So if it smells like chemicals or comes in a spray, like paint, perfume, or anything in a spray can, it probably has VOCs in it. Number 5, the sin of lesser of two evils. This is where a brand says, hey, at least I'm not as bad as the other guy, but sometimes all options in a category suck, like organic plastic wrap or biodegradable electronics. They're still toxic or polluting. Just because it's better in the category doesn't mean it's good. Another example, organic cigarettes. Improved tobacco is still tobacco. Or biodegradable plastic bags that still break down into microplastics. These guys got me for years. When they say plastic is biodegradable, they only mean in an industrial facility. They do not mean in your compost bin for the city or in your backyard compost. These companies are bragging about being better than the worst, while still being pretty bad. Another example, biodegradable single-use cutlery made from corn plastic. The environment, it still encourages single-use culture and ends up in landfills. Regarding economic justice, it's often sold at a markup and as green luxury items. Mental load, consumers feel guilted into overpaying for a weak alternative. And the vote angle, these are emotional votes cast in desperation, not informed ones. If you're just picking the cleanest dirty shirt, you're still wearing a dirty shirt. And finally, number 6, the sin of fibbing. No spin, no fluff, just flat out lies. We're talking fake seals, incorrect claims, and made up stats. These are illegal in many places, but they still happen, so double check. One big example of this is vegan leather, made from PVC. Some shoe brands claim their products are made with eco-friendly vegan leather, making it sound like a win for both animals and the planet. But when you dig deeper, the material is actually PVC, polyvinyl chloride. This is one of the most toxic plastics to produce and dispose of. It's not biodegradable, It leaches harmful chemicals and it pollutes every step of the way. Calling it eco is like calling a cigarette vitamin packed because it came from a plant. These companies are straight up lying. They use claims that aren't just misleading, they're false. So another great example is nail polish labeled non-toxic that actually contain toluene and formaldehyde. Regarding your personal health, these are dangerous chemicals labeled as safe, and that's a betrayal. For the environment, disposal requires hazardous waste protocols, but nobody tells you that. Economic justice, you're paying for peace of mind and you're getting poison. And the vote angle, you're voting for dishonesty, and they want you to never notice. It's not green if it's gaslighting. So when nail polish goes in the trash, and I'm talking any and all nail polish, it doesn't just vanish. When you leave it with the lid on, it's then packed with hardcore chemicals that stay liquid for years. If it's sealed in that tiny bottle, hint being, take the lid off at least when you toss it, or take it to the special facility, but when it is left sealed, it becomes a toxic time bomb, just waiting to crack open and leak straight into the ground. And when it does, those chemicals will poison soil, hurt animals, and mess with ecosystems. It's like throwing a glittery grenade straight into nature. So now let's shift into something a little more positive with what you can trust. Look for third-party certifications. How can you spot this while standing in the aisle? Avoid buzzwords like eco-friendly, sustainable, earth-loving, and green formula. Look for official-looking symbols. They usually have a circle, a stamp style border, a recognizable name, and look for any mention of who did the certifying, not just certified eco. If you don't see a certification logo or the name of the certifying body, it's probably not certified. Flip the product and scan for logos, not buzzwords. Certifications have official, consistent logos, and if it's certified, it will proudly show that to you. If it's vague, they'll hide behind these buzzwords. Easy ways to check a company. Ask yourself if you've ever heard anything good about the company or anything bad. If the answer is no idea, it's a red flag, not a pass. And cheat. Use apps. These are just a couple I came across. They're not the only ones, and I'm definitely not saying that they're even the best ones. They're just the ones I kind of liked. Yuka, they scans barcodes, tells you ingredients, safety, and brand ethics. Good on you. It's for fashion, for brands, of what they're doing behind the scenes. Think Dirty. It's mainly beauty and cleaning products, but surprisingly useful across a lot of categories. No research is needed. Just scan and roll. Because really, few people are willing to open 12 internet browsers while they're in the toilet paper aisle. So just use these tips and tricks instead. There's always apps to choose from, and there's way too many products to review them all. So always cheat if you can. Now, here are some very trustworthy symbols. If you see these, you know you are good to go. Cradle to cradle, it means the product is designed with a circular economy principles, safe materials, ethical labor, and plans to reuse or biodegrading. Canada Organic or USDA Organic, minimal chemicals and higher eco standards from farm to finish. Certified B Corporation means the entire company has passed rigorous standards for environmental and social responsibility. Eco Logo, UL, they test for environmental impacts through the entire product lifecycle. Fair Trade Certified means it's guaranteed for safe working conditions, fair wages, and community empowerment. Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, means it comes from responsibly managed forests. And Ecotext Standard 100 tests for harmful substances. Conscious consumerism is not about perfection. It's about awareness. We cannot always get it right. Maybe you live in a small place or just have a handful of options, and that's real life. But the point is, now you know what to look for. Even if you only get to make the better choice once in a while, that choice always sends a signal. That's conscious consumerism at work.